In this video, I'm gonna talk about
Control.
This is a Metroidvania in 3D. Metroid in the sense that it is atmospheric and a little spooky, and you are up against alien stuff that does not give a shit about the laws of physics. Vania in the sense that you have a set base of operations with people to talk to, so you never really feel alone and abandoned, no matter how deeply you go into the bowels of your environment. If you want to make a game like Control, what you do is you take the entire SCP Foundation website, simmer for about 3 days, and remove all of the creepy gunk that comes up to the surface now and then. You will end up with a rich and hearty solution that is palatable by the common of mortals, without really pushing them off their foundations too much. All of the extreme existential dread of the source material has been boiled down into moving video game pictures, which at first look intimidating, but can all be fought back using some good old acute lead poisoning with air conditioning. Welcome to your first day on the job. You are a redhead with an axe to grind against a secret government organization, and your resolve is so badass that you are made the new boss of that organization just by showing up into the place. This is not even a spoiler. It happens in the first 5 minutes of the game. Now that you have all of these people at your disposal, you can then focus on your first task of the day, which is to repel an invasion of mind-controlling whatevers that hate everyone and everything. In order to solve this problem, you come equipped with a pistol that is capable of transforming into a .357 Magnum, a shotgun, a submachine gun, a sniper rifle, and a rocket launcher, all of which have piss-poor accuracy. The latter issue is resolved early on using the ability to yeet objects with such incredible force as to make a domestic dispute blush green with envy. Further upgrades allow you to access more of the world and open up a few more options in combat besides flinging shit at your opponents. To round off the system, you get to equip perks on both yourself and your weapons in order to tweak them to your liking and your playstyle. Pretty much every perk is randomly generated, and you can either purchase new roles or embark on an infinity of small kill 10 of these side quests in order to get a shot at maybe hopefully what you are looking for to complete your build. That said, the impact of even the best perks is barely a game changer, and the fact that the endgame allows you to farm them is like the cigar box at a whiskey bar. Every self-respecting establishment has one, even though you will never actually use it. If you have ever experienced the honeymoon of a supposed dream job, you will identify with the first few hours of this adventure, as the initial feeling of exploration and discovery transforms into another day on the job in which you casually pop a cap in a few asses while you gather some lore pieces about an object that you will never see and has no effect on the story. It is like gathering a best 15 of the SCP Foundation, except in cheap Chinese knockoff format so that nobody calls a lawyer. There is only one genuinely scary part to this game, and it is the astral spike. It is a piece of reality that is in the eternal process of exploding to bits. It is invincible, and it will chase you around like a slow zombie, but it will politely stop when you leave the room. There is also one single jump scare in the whole thing, and it is concealed in a secret room in one of the DLCs, so you can miss that part entirely with no ill effect, because it does not even offer a reward. Really, that Easter egg scares you, tries to kill you, then tells you to go fuck yourself for all your trouble. For the normal killing, you can and you will die from something that you never looked at in the first place, because the enemy has been hiding in your blind spot the whole time and has been flinging shit at you while you were busy flinging shit at not him. It does not help that enemies can spawn from behind pillars and small objects in the middle of combat, so you might as well take the spinning dervish approach to your fights and 360 no-scope everything until you hear the bong noise that tells you the fight is over. There is no denying that the presentation is pristine, and most of the game feels like a movie in which you are the protagonist. And because you are obviously a god among humans, you gladly take the fight to all of these abominations with a smirk on your face and nothing personal, kid. The backstory explains that you have seen some shit, and that the organization you lead is well beyond its first rodeo, but I personally believe in the theory that everyone is aware that they are actors in a video game, and all they need to do is play their part, say their lines, and they are back home in time for dinner. This is what happens when a concept is taken out of its core and made into a product of mass appeal rather than something to elicit a strong and visceral reaction. The goal is not to rustle your jimmies. It is to keep your attention for about 35 hours, assuming you purchased the Ultimate Edition with all the DLC, and pat your head just often enough to remind you that what happens in the video game stays in the video game, and no boogeyman is going to loom over your bed at night. You are in an office that sometimes looks like a failing game of Tetris, but it will never crush you. You are fighting a force from another world that makes humans glow red in a few places and shoot you with a gun and a few boulders. Even the most unfamiliar and alien of displays can still be tamed by the protagonist doing claw hands around it for a few seconds. The situation is never desperate. No matter what, you are always in control. Once you have shot all the bad guys and done all of the side quests, you get to realize that work is never over. There is an infinite supply of enemies to kill and of lists of enemies to kill. You can choose to do these in the office, in the other office, in the mechanical room, in the cave, in the other office, or in the other office. I cannot find a fault in any part of the whole, but that does not stop me from finding some issue with the end result, like it is less than the sum of its parts. Your reward for doing something is the opportunity to do it all over again. In short, this game is vacuum cleaning.